Well, into draft we go. Liyab going to be on your blue side, Nova on the red. It is, of course, going to be the blue side set ban PCS special coming out here from Liyab. Actually, a decent ban actually going up against G4 and Rocky. Both have had pretty decent performances on the champion. We do sometimes have a joke about that, but this is actually a team that I think it does matter up against. I do like this from Nova, though. They say, all right, you guys have been seeing success coming out from this Twisted Fate. That one, though, is weird from Liyab. Dawn actually not going to have his Ashe because Liyab themselves ban it out.
Yeah, Golden Feet would also fall back into the Ashe. He has picked it up, or rather, 5 times, and Dawn 4 times already. So this is definitely a comfort pick for both of these teams. Makes me wonder whether or not we're going to be seeing a usual Ezreal Aphelios matchup in the bottom side of the map, and Kalista being taken out as respect against Rocky that, you know, obliterated Kanji in their first encounter.
I'm interested here now. They're actually going to go ahead and ban out the Bard. This kind of tells me that Warlock and Deul are feeling confident enough that, you know what, Dawn, maybe on the Aphelios, might not be able to carry away, considering he won't have much utility or any kind of CC as a backup plan, but it kind of forces Liyab into this scenario. What do you rather want to play, the Ezreal or the Aphelios? The Ezreal performances we've seen from Liyab haven't been spectacular. It feels like they lack damage, so they say, okay, we'll go for the more hyper damage carry, and kind of already says that this game is going to go a little bit longer unless Dawn is getting fed super early.
Yeah, that's the thing. Liyab is already spelling scaling unless the top side part of the map would act as a buffer while waiting for Dawn. And just as we mentioned earlier, it will be the typical, now the Ashe is gone, it's going to be the typical Ashe, or rather Aphelios versus Ezreal. We talked about Ryan. Sometimes he would be put on towards that power farming state, and it seems the weight will shift towards the jungle this time for Nova.
All right, so he's getting himself his Nilly. Enjoys playing the champion, has been rather aggressive on it when he does have the opportunity. Gets up in the faces of his opponents, so a nice pickup here, and already screams aggression from Nova early. That's what I like to see. Doidoi looks like he's going to try and fall back onto something like the Lee Sin. That has been kind of more, of course, his comfort pickup, as it does get locked in.
He played this last night against PSG, and he had key and amazing kicks, and hopefully we'll get to see that once more. And usually when we see an aggressive jungler, strong level 3, if you pair that up with also a very strong aggressive support, then Liyab says it's definitely go time, especially for what Rex is going to pick up in the mid lane.
Also means for Mocha, he has something that he can try and go for playmaking opportunities in toward the mid lane for an early roam, so I do like that. It does mean here, though, that Nova, they opt to say, all right, we want to go ahead, get Renekton. It can be a flex to mid lane for G4, but will likely go to Rocky in that top lane as just a safe blind pick as they now head into the second ban phase, getting rid of the Urgot away from Kanji.
Yeah, I cannot help but be distracted a little bit by, you know, the facial expressions of Liyab. They're looking, you know, confident coming up against this matchup so far. And yes, for Liyab, for Nova rather, a respect ban against Kanji on the Urgot, so they're removing that out of the way.
Gotta ask, is it a respect ban, or is that just trying to limit the champion pool from what we've seen of Kanji? Again, for those that aren't aware, Kanji originally is a mid laner trainee that was in Liyab's academy system, but then Cabbage said, hey, there is an opportunity if you do learn top lane, and he did go for a role swap, so he could play in the PCS, but we have yet to see him bring out some of those kind of mid lane-esque picks. We might ever see a Ryze pick up possibly toward the top side of the map. Ryze has been kind of sneaking back into popularity as far as the meta goes for the top lane. We also see the Wukong being taken away. This could easily be a bait, though, by Nova. Like we mentioned, G4 has played the Renekton before in mid lane.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery still for Nova, as most of the time, or normally, they would really set up a counter pick for Rocky at top side, especially if they're feeling confident. And for Liyab, still removing one of the mid laners, which is the Karma, and rather sometimes even on the support position.
So seeing no Karma, like you mentioned, getting rid of that ability to just go ahead and try and roam around the map, get some extra poke. does mean here, though, we might have a heavy engaged support in the form of the Leona that still leaves open the opportunity for the Renekton to get flexed. So Liyab have to see what are they thinking, what are they going to try and call here. Is this going to be a rocky top lane Renekton, or is it a G4 mid lane Renekton that's come out of nowhere? This would be a completely different change of pace, though, for Kanji in the top lane, going on to something like an Ornn and opting into something that's a little bit, in theory, simpler to play, be mainly a tank, and just be there for the CC.
Yeah, I think this is the first time, just as you mentioned, he's going to be a damage soaker role. I mean, something similar would be the Malphite, which he picked once, I believe, up against the Wukong at topside. But now, yeah, we'll see. It's very, very standard. Rex had a beautiful performance on that Syndra before, and it seems there's a lot of things that I would like to be replicated for this matchup in particular. And for this last pick, we're going to find out whether or not this Renekton is going mid or top.
My main concern here in particular is Liyab had the opportunity to take the Galio, actually, if they wanted to. Nova here, you could pair this up with something with a decent amount of dive. They actually opt into an Echo. That's a rather very aggressive pick coming out from G4, something that we've rarely seen, but is kind of one of his pocket specialty picks that we get a little bit of a treat of here up against Liyab.
Yeah, especially when someone picks a Syndra, almost everyone automatically would go for this Echo pick, and I'm absolutely scared. There's a lot of heavy damage and poke coming from Nova. A mix of all-in, a mix of poke, and decent amount of hard CC to make sure that they're able to burst someone down. For Liyab, the biggest question is, for me, how are they going to survive the early to mid phases of the game? Because it's looking very scary for them with Nova's composition.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of dive, and it also allows Pomp, if he wants to go for some roams. You could chain that up with the Echo very easily with the parallel convergence. So I think Doidoi has to do his best to defend his mid lane as well as not get caught out himself. But again, Philippines taking on Thailand. Liyab against Nova. Near bottom of the table, mid-pack now, that Nova is it within striking distance here of Liyab. And for Liyab, a victory here equals out the series score to score in the double round robin. We're going to go ahead, though, and load onto the Rift for our 5th game of the night. There was like an echo of Summoner's Rift as it just shocked throughout the Rift itself. Nonetheless, like we mentioned,
it's a big rift.
It is a big rift, and you know, there is a pretty scary announcer lady. Have you heard the new announcer for Nexus Blitz? Have you
I
heard
did
those?
not
Okay,
yet.
some of those are great. I personally love the Soraka bot one where it says Soraka bot has entered the battlefield. I think personally we need that. I can't wait for Nexus Blitz. That's going to be a fun time during the spring, the Blossom event that is going to be coming out. That's the Spirit Blossom, not Spring Blossom. Been watching too many animes.
Spring. Oh well.
It's Spring Festival on the Rift.
It is.
But it's midsummer. Nonetheless, on we go. Like we mentioned, playoff implications actually rather big now that we are into the 2nd round robin, considering that Nova and Liyab are literally one game when it comes to the difference here, and Liyab could easily tie up the record. And that forces a lot of pressure onto teams like Berjaya as well, as they have to continue to act aggressively and try and take games where they can, especially getting upsets on teams like Alpha that were above them in the standings.
Yeah, it's very interesting where, you know, we're at the 2nd round robin. Every single game will count, but there are games where perhaps it would be harder to gain a victory, gain a point. But so far, Liyab has acquired, what, AHQ and as well as PSG.
Games that they have no right winning in most cases on paper. Like genuine,
on paper, yes.
Like proper Kingslayers. We called HK the Kingslayers. Well, Liyab now have They got the bodies of HQ as well as PSG in their back pocket. See it here already, though. Rocky, being rather aggressive with his push, has decided, all right, we want to try and do what we can. Doidoi, actually, looking for a sneaky play here, is actually G4 gets kicked outside, and that forces out the flash out of this Echo to start things off.
I love they were ready for the Ascension BM and as well as the thumbs down. They were wearing that bot lane.
Meanwhile, though, bot lane, Pop has to be a little bit careful. Dawn decides not to go aggressive as Golden Feet's still at about half health, but that is going to be the flash and ignite down in exchange for the exhaust and cleanse on the side of Liyab.
Can I just say I love how confident Liyab is? They were... I like the visit. Anyway, G4, no flash whatsoever. We'll have to rely on the face dive for any extra mobility. We talked about this. I'm worried for Kanji at topside. This could be deja vu from their first game, but here we go.
Minions coming on in. You see Kanji trying to do what he can, get stunned up underneath the tower, but it's rather difficult to kill this Ornn right away. And if he wanted to, you could try and just build up a Ruby Crystal or something, trying to get a little bit of health back, but instead opting to take the more safe approach. Decides, all right, I'm going to head on back to base and then teleport back. Does mean, though, he will lack the teleport for a possible fight.
Yeah, will lack the teleport, but it's fine, as, again, Kanji, all he's got to do, survive, as to not let this Renekton go haywire, especially in the early objective fights. And again, this is a different Liyab, because when we look at Spring, it's all about having, you know, 30-minute victories and having that snowball, but it's so different now, which is having to scale later into the game, which is what Nova has been trying to do for the past few games in summer.
It's also different here, too, because this is, I think, one of the first times we've seen Kanji on something like an Ornn when it comes to summer. Usually he likes to play something a little bit more scrappy, so we've been seeing the Aatrox come out of him yesterday. Sometimes Renekton, also the Jace is in his pool, and we even heard during the Ward series that he isn't afraid to also try and bring mages up into the top lane. I know they were thinking of possibly bringing out a Cassiopeia at one point during one of the drafts. Could even bring out the Rise, like I mentioned. So to see an identity shift and putting a lot of focus, a lot of trust into Dawn to perform, and also putting Rex on something like a carry once again, instead of a Karma, and opting for something that's, I guess, a little bit more spike heavy rather than a Twisted Fate that's going to take a while to scale.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of impact, a lot of damage, a lot of burst. Dodo here, though.
He's
not spotted, but is spotted now.
No. Resonating Strike comes over the wall, and Ryan kind of goes, that ain't natural. We do see Doidoi really wants to try and make a play happen here in mid lane. Level 6 has been hit, though, for G4. I think Rex is still waiting on a couple minions. There it is. Has the Unleashed Power. Might try and get a little bit aggressive here. As with the 10.13 Cinder changes, the mana cost on the Q was the most recent nerf we saw to her kit. Once you get past, though, that early first couple of levels, usually gets back to normal to the state she used to be in.
Yeah, definitely. Laning phase is going to be tough for Rex at first. But as we can see, Doidoi has been trying to relieve pressure and take advantage of the fact that G4 doesn't have his flash off cooldown just yet. But unfortunately, Ryan was there prepared for some sort of counter gank, and therefore has decided to pull off first from that plan.
And other than the one gank in mid lane from Doidoi, we haven't seen a whole lot of action from our jungles. Is going to go ahead and get the tag there onto Ryan. Both jungles kind of, you know, taking a little dance. Doidoi's starting to fall a little bit behind, though, when it comes to his level. Actually goes in around the dragon. Spear not going to connect, even though Ryan had full vision of where the Lee Sin was pathing. Trying to get some prio from the mid lane to allow G4 to come on down and maybe look for this first dragon of the game.
It's honestly very hard to eliminate the Echo at this point. Dodo at least gets scuttle control. My oh my, Dodo feeling very confident.
Yeah, Dodo is kind of, I don't know if there's been a change of mood or morale, but a lot more, you know, cheeky when it comes to spamming the emotes. And not being afraid to try and go for a fight like that up against Ryan that does have like G4 roaming down. Maybe Rex being on a carry has given him a lot more confidence.
And the fact that, Rex outright just used the Scatter the Weak, so there's not a lot of CC to rely on after that. But Dodoy and Mocha, this could be a tag team.
Oh, nice hook coming out there. Descend's is going to connect. No Flay is going to use that over onto Pop. Dodoy a little bit late to the party. I do like it, though. I like they're trying to make a play happen. It's rather difficult, though, to try and lock down onto an Ezreal.
Yeah, I think Dodoy was being a little bit careful because what if Golden Feet takes Dodoy for a ride? An Arcane Shift flash to the tower is not going to be pretty once you get that Q in, but this leaves room for Liyab to get this dragon, and in the meantime, Nova will exchange for the Rift Herald, and it's looking like spring at the moment, where early game trades on objectives instead of 5v5s in the Rift Herald.
Well, Dodoy does know that he does have to make a run up toward this top lane because Kanji is likely going to be the main target, as actually we do see lots of pings coming out and out because Ryan is spotted over on the blue buff. We'll be able to burn that one down. Kanji a little bit late. Ryan now realizes he's on a ward, so might decide to try and get himself back to safety, but Call of the Forge God going to be used in the top lane, just trying to clear back the wave. Dodoy is nearby. Level 6 is there. We'll see whether or not he's actually able to answer, but they may just cut their losses as Kanji's going to get taken on down, gets that first blood on over. Teleport way too late if Liyab wanted to pull this trigger, and that has been something that has plagued the team so far in summer.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate because we see Rex pinging that, G4 is missing in mid. Had to linger around a little bit to clear the waves before going back to base, buying that item, and then teleporting towards topside. I think that is the unfortunate thing because I think having to buy, of course, more items, more power, but it's definitely too late.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what Rex's mana pool was like. Maybe he got chunked out by G4 before he could do anything. But you want to see that teleport come in a little bit earlier, and that has been something that Rex has done a couple times when it comes to top lane dives. Isn't end of the world yet for Liyab, though. The kill went on to Ryan, not to Rocky, so Rocky will continue to be a nuisance in that lane, but won't be overly dominating likely as Kanji. Again, he's just here to soak up pressure and just become tankier and tankier as the game goes.
Yeah, meanwhile for Nova, just as you mentioned, it's definitely not the end of the world, but for Nova, one kill is still going to help propel them into an even scarier comp. Just as we mentioned in the draft, there's a little bit of dive and as well as poke in the form of Ryan here on the Nidalee and as well as with Golden Feet, and just right amount of CC to make sure that they fall down. And oh dear, oh my, this is going to be round number 3.
G4 also pathing. We didn't mention yesterday that Liyab, they will often try and salvage lanes that do not have any way of coming back. Mocha is nearby. Kanji's soaking up spears left and right. Bit of a magnet, but he doesn't give over a kill. Just some pressure. As it looks like Liyab are going to be fine with just letting that one go. Do have to note, though, that gold lead is starting to grow here for Nova, considering they only have 1 kill. The CS differences in the top lane carrying over to about a 1,300 gold lead.
Yeah, Kanji definitely going to have a lot of problems considering the fact that Ryan most especially likes to visit topside. Again, it's very reminiscent of what we've seen back at spring. And with that, and we look at Rex earlier, that's he went back once more, and we see how heavy it is when it comes to the nerfs on the laning phase of Rex having to go back once more and not able to do anything as G4 keeps pushing in the lane.
Well, Rex wanted to get Sork boots before the Lost Chapter, and not getting that Lost Chapter early ends up hitting your mana pool because you don't get the extra mana when you level up, as Kanji just wants to step up. He just wants a little bit of farm, as Dodoy still has yet to make a proper appearance toward the top side of the map, just trying not to fall behind in XP as he is going up against a pretty heavy power farmer in the form of the Nidalee. Let's take a look down toward this bot lane. We haven't seen a whole lot of action. And a lot of Liyab's, post 30-minute plans rely heavily on Dawn on this Aphelios, who has now finished off his Infinity Edge. Top lane, Kanji Gee, just let it go here. Call the Forge God going to be used, but he's got to be careful. There's no way he can escape from this one, and that is going to be another kill now. Rocky unlocked from his lane as first brick goes down in top.
This is scary because, again, this is a throwback to spring, especially first round robin, where Rocky has picked, I don't know, Renekton 9 times in a row. And this is exactly what happened before, where Ryan would get first Rift Herald, make sure at least Rocky would get 1 or 2 kills, funnel the gold onto this Renekton, and then once the 5v5 starts, or the skirmishes start, that's the time Rocky would be fed even more, and it's just all according to plan. Yesterday, this is exactly what happened to Kanji as well. Getting dove twice, getting that death twice, but that would be the limit. I believe it was only 2 deaths from the laning phase at least, and from then on, Kanji would hug the second tower, or rather the inhibitor tower, if he must.
That does mean the issue now is Rocky can just freely join in on these fights. He doesn't have to be in that top lane trying to power farm. He already has a decent advantage, and that now leads Liyab into this awkward situation where do we actually try and contest onto these dragons? The answer appears to be no here, as there won't be a real answer. Rex a little bit too close to the party. You can see he's spread out and in not the right position. Tries to flash away to safety, but needs to stay with the team. And meanwhile, a quick TP toward the top lane is going to prevent that tower from going down.
And there's no exchange from Liyab whatsoever in this fight in particular, as they wanted to get a fight or start a fight, maybe get a kill from that, but unfortunately, Rex's positioning, they were spotted out, and that was an easy Zenith blade from Pop. The rest of the Liyab members probably wanted to do a pincer attack, come from the bottom side of the map, but it didn't work out, as Rex is the missing link with that 4v5.
Unfortunately, we have been kind of questioning Rex in particular. Yesterday he had some rather unfortunate pathing when it came to some of these team fights. You see Dodoi being evaded once again. And it's just the pressure that's coming out from Ryan. G4 is just going to come on over toward the side. Sure, they're able to maybe lock down and get themselves a quick blue buff. Dodoi not able to finish off the kill, ends up getting knocked up, but in comes Rex over toward the side. Call the Forge God is going to land into a hook, and there you go. Shut down, secured by the side of Liyab. We'll see if Nova want to try and respond here to this Rift Herald.
Okay, so they still have Ryan at least for that additional AP damage output at least, but it's a 4v5. Looks like Liyab is just trying to make things even. You kill our mid laner, we'll kill yours. We'll also get an objective for ourselves.
I do like here, though, Liyab recognizing, all right, we got ourselves a Rift Herald. If we really want to, we can try and equal out some of the pressure. If we can unlock Rex, then this Syndra can go into a side lane and try and get some more farm. And there you go, Ascension Gaming being popped there by Dodoi. Unfortunately, they're not going to get anything else there, only the single charge out of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, not a lot of value. And again, for G4 on this Echo, it's just so hard with that second life. But this is a beautiful setup too. It's just unfortunate, you know, Unleashed Power, a little bit overkill, but it's better, I guess, for that safety. Rex, though, has Scatter the Weak. He's fine.
Sorry, weak to safety, but you see G4. He's an Echo. He loves the dive, and Pop is looking for a quick on roam. Rex able to get back to safety as Dodoi almost able to finish off the kill, but he gets that chrono break, and Rex does get taken down, getting too aggressive as the Time Winder is able to come on through. You've seen what, meanwhile, Mocha into the 1v1 against Ryan. That's not a 1v1 you want to take there, as Dodoi able to path away from the spear, but now realizing he has to back off as Ryan is on the hunt.
Whew, that was... Okay, the rest of the members can collapse. Ryan's still sticking around to keep an eye on Dodoi because Rocky has full reign on top side. He is the king of top side because Liyab invested a lot of resources here in the bottom side of the map. And as you can see, almost just because of that ult coming from that Echo, it's just so hard to eliminate and commit to the Echo.
I got to see that replay there. Rex kind of gave over that kill. That was a kill that he did not need to give to G4, as he just kind of stepped into the Time Winder instead of just staying back, trying to get a little bit of damage to the Q. So they do trade back one, but now take a look at this gold lead. That's now a 4,000 gold advantage just based off the CS differences in top lane, as well as just now the gold lead coming in from the kills on the side of Nova. On top of that, too, the one turret as well. And the turret plating taken early. You're really putting all your eggs into the Dawn basket if you are a Liyab fan at this point, who, again, still a little bit before he comes online with his Aphelios.
Yeah, and again, this is the new identity that Liyab has grown for Summer. And for Nova, they also like that scaling game. They also like that waiting game. But when they're up against former LST teams that they've beaten time and time again from the LST, from the GPL, that's the reason why they're confident going back to their usual form and just take, again, Liyab on.
And now Rex is going to go into a side lane. A little scary to go up against Rocky, as Rocky himself is pretty fed. Rex is kind of at this power point, though, with a Syndra that we've talked about quite a bit when it does get picked in the PCS. Level 11, Yairloon's complete with Sword Boots. That's a decent amount of base damage, as well as some good just upfront burst damage. Doi. Gotta be careful, as Nova's vision line actually starting to get pushed into the jungle and keeping track of where this Lee Sin is pathing.
Yeah, absolutely scary, but looks like Liyab has made it in time for their rotation. I thought, oh, look at Dawn, almost half HP from that spear, and the True Shot Barrage not dodged. That is, yes, a lot of poke.
That's a lot of poke, and that's a lot of bad timing here if you're a Liyab fan, as now that's going to be the Dragon started up here by Nova. And it does mean that Nova are ever closing in toward possibly a soul point if Liyab are not able to regain control or composure in this game. As now, you're now looking at toward a 30-minute Mountain Soul for Nova if they're able to take it off spawn. And kind of putting pressure here on Liyab to force them to have to make plays sooner than later.
Yeah, and then having to rely again on Dawn in the later stages of the game. And yeah, I think, you know, Liyab it's all about having to survive. But at the end of the day, there's also that very scary spike on the Ezreal, on his 2 item power spike, especially after maxing out his Manamune. And in the meantime, it seems to be quiet for now, but it's only because Nova has control over not only the side lanes, but so far in the Dragon.
We do see here, though, you got a little bit of a spike coming out for Dawn. Has finished off his Runads, so it's going to be able to do some decent damage himself when it comes to a little bit of these fights. Also, first ornament online for Kanji. He can start upgrading some of the items for Liyab, and that kind of brings back the gold difference as far as efficiency goes. So there is starting to see the signs of scaling on the side of Liyab. Scaling should be a forbidden word when it comes to the PCS, but it is there. We'll see whether or not that's going to be the case, as Golden Feet just trying to clear out the wave as much as he can.
Yeah, Dawn being a little bit comfortable, extending a little bit into the lane, as they do have information where the rest of the members are from Nova, with everybody else trying to split push, especially G4 and as well as Rocky. Now Liyab, very brave invading Nova's jungle at the moment, hoping to get the red.
Unfortunately there, wasn't able to actually get vision into the brush, and Golden Feet is able to take the red himself. And Doi, he's been trying to get up into the faces of Nova, but he's been a little bit unfortunate. He does have the 2 kills for his team, but hasn't been able to really get a whole lot here in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Dawn, though, just going to continue just getting gold injected into this Aphelios one way or the other via the lane or jungle.
We talked about spikes before. You know, Golden Feet already finished his gauntlet. There's also the possible Lichbane spike from both Ryan and G4, which is going to be absolutely painful once they all dive in. And looking at Liyab, everyone else is pretty much squishy except for Kanji, so it's a little bit worrisome once Nova presses that go signal.
Yeah, it's really worrisome with Rocky at the point he's at. Death Chance makes it rather difficult to kill that Renekton now, as well as Merc Tread, so Rex can't just burst him down right away. And guess what? Nova are just getting away here, just clearing out waves, which is 50-50. For Liyab, of course, you like to try and get pressure somewhere on the map, and luckily for them, I think Rocky, even with the advantage he has, he actually could have done a lot more on the map so far when it comes to his Renekton pickup, being as ahead as he was. As you can see now, he's just kind of having issues actually pushing in Kanji more than just the tower, and actually has lost out on his experience lead.
Yeah, I think it's due to the fact that Liyab, once they find it's an awkward position to take a 5v5 in the Dragon, they would decide to just back away and respect the power of Nova's composition in this current game state. And then would try later on, once, you know, Dawn has a little bit more items in his pocket. But then, at the end of the day, yes, if you do eliminate Dawn, then it's going to be a huge problem later on. Your win condition is going to be gone. Rex, eventually, once Nova will itemize well or more defensively, then it's going to be hard to eliminate. And then Rex will have a hard time eliminating certain targets from Nova, especially when stopwatches and QSSs come online. And yeah, 50 seconds on the clock. We'll see what Liyab decides to do with this one.
Lots of pings, though, coming out from Liyab. This is a Dragon, it seems they don't wish to give up. Meanwhile, top lane, though, G4 is starting to get into split push mode. He's picked up now his Lich Bane and Echo. Every item you pick up, it feels like another decent spike when it comes to his kit. So Liyab here have to make a decision. That's going to be both teleports being used as G4 now pushing in onto the base. And someone has to deal with this pressure, or else that's going to be a free inhibitor tower.
Yeah, we talked about Lich Bane. Well, here it is. There's the immense amount of damage on towards the auto attack. And with that said, Liyab has to give up pressure and control over the river for Nova's third dragon. But it seems to me they haven't really left the building yet. They really want to opt for this one, as Kanji does have teleport.
Kanji does have teleport, so does G4, and it's going to be kind of a bit of a chicken game of chicken in that top lane. Who's going to try and teleport for us? Both top laners can interrupt each other when it comes to their ultimates. But we do see Nova are the ones to just go ahead and start up this Drake. Doidoi, he's thinking about it. Oh, Dragon resets. That's actually not too bad here on the side of Liyab. That might be a free Drake. Teleports are going to come on in, but no, Ryan prevents that Dragon from being taken. Rocky into the fray. Call the Forge God, though, isn't half bad. Splits up the fight, but Rocky is just huge at this point. Dawn going to try and do what he can, but the burst that comes out from this Echo is insane. Kanji at least trying to keep the team occupied, and he will actually be able to sacrifice himself to prevent the other members of Liyab from going down.
And I feel like that is the perfect situation. Bait, make the Dragon reset, bait out Doidoi to enter the pit. That would mean Liyab would have to fight a fight that they're definitely not prepared for, and it all works out in their favor just because, you know, Nova also got the Dragon for themselves.
And that's tragic. It's just that upfront burst damage. As we take a look, yep, it's just a mate smite there coming out from Doidoi a little bit early, and unfortunately, you see Doidoi, he tried to go for the kick, but Ezreal able to buffer away with the Arcade Shield.
And that is the difficult part when you want to catch someone off of position, because Golden Feet did not even use the flash in the whole duration of that fight, which just means there's just so much mobility for Nova in general. Like every single lane, except for the Leona, has some sort of mobility. And at that point, Liyab is definitely having a hard time who to pick first.
And unfortunately now, game is starting to look a little bit dire, as Liyab currently sit almost 7,000 gold behind. They're looking at now Soul Point in 3.5 minutes or so, which makes trying to take these team fights and bursting down some of these targets very difficult. We also see Rex that's opted in for the Spellbinder, which I have reservations about, considering that's almost enough to go for Rabadons. That could have been upgraded by Kanji, and it's just an insane item upgrade for the price that you get it. Instead, they're opting for a Spellbinder, maybe for a little bit extra move speed, but that I feel like is a bit of a selfish buy. But let's see here. Doidoi on top of G4. You see G4 still able to do some decent damage. Rex, though, over toward the side, able to sidestep away, gets the Scatter of the Weak to just ensure that he keeps himself safe, and G4 should be going down here soon. Doidoi can't finish him off. Call the Forge God just going to be used to try and slow him down, and G4, He's just running circles around them.
Bot lane.
He's keeping them easily contained. Dodo just pull the trigger on the Q. Sure, you finally get the kill. But guess what? Bot lane, that's going to be the inhibitor tower going on down. Ryan now maybe looking for a play as Liyab were trying to force a Baron. And now comes the teleport from Rocky. Doidoi going down low. He gets taken down by Pop, and it's a complete disaster on the side of Liyab. Dawn has to go 200 years at this point on the Aphelios, but they're just being gate kept at this point by Nova. Even in a 4v3, though, Nova not confident enough to just try and pull the trigger and go for the dive, as Rex still in the base, clearing minions.
Can I just say how afraid I was? If Rocky did not teleport at all, he would have just continued with a split push, because Liyab was busy having to deal with Nova in the Baron pit, and Dodo was incredibly low at this point, so Nova, I feel like even without Rocky, they would have been very confident to just storm through everyone from Liyab.
So for Liyab, I guess your one takeaway here is you didn't lose an inhibitor, but you are starting to lose a lot of your map control. It's about a 8,000 gold lead for Nova. And guess what? We got ourselves Mountain Soul spawning in just over a minute. And Liyab are now being forced at this point. They have to go for some of these fights. Issue is, can they actually protect Dawn during some of these fights? I feel like G4 has now shown a couple times he's pretty sneaky, able to get into the back line of Nova, and makes it very difficult for this team to come back in this game.
Again, they're very incredibly mobile. You've got G4 with a second life. And if you want to try and eliminate someone, I guess the squishiest person on board would probably be Ryan, who doesn't really have a lot of options once Ryan goes in. But my oh my, it's just been very difficult. Everyone is practically online for Nova's comp right now.
But Liyab has to make a decision. They're doing the exact same thing we just saw. G4 is in top lane, has teleport. You have to force this. Why is Rex ulting onto a Leona? Sure, they might get Pop at this point. Call the Forge God is going to knock him up. Cool, you got Pop, but you're losing your base, Liyab. You see now Mountain Drake is going to spawn. If Liyab can't secure this Mountain Drake, I'm going to say it might be doomed. We'll see. Ryan looking for another steal. You got Dawn here as well. If Ryan steals this is disaster. The team is just taking it. Nexus towers are going down. G4 is just taking the base. That's going to be a teleport coming out here. Rocky does get hooked up. They might get a shutdown, but Dawn is way too close to the fight. Ryan's able to get some take. Rex hasn't gone back to base. Kanji went back to base. He got interrupted. G4 is just taking the base, and Liyab literally throw the game away on a silver platter to Nova and take the loss.
I am
in the
shocked.
game, G4. Oh my god.
I don't know what just happened, because this is the second time it happened. It happened first. I love G4's expression, by the way.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm molding a little because, oh my lord, what was the decision making there? G4, yeah, he just was like, all right, playing League of Legends? What? What was that, Liyab? What happened to this team that, like, took down PSG and went pretty good against Alpha? They just, like, all right, so we talk about, like, their comms from Liyab where they say, you know, my health is low, and they call it HP boom. Well,
HP
mind boom, apparently, because no one had a brain during that final fight. That was sad.
I think Liyab does have a tendency to tunnel vision, especially Nova is just really great with their 1-3-1 that they formed. And the thing is, that was the second time it happened, because it happened first at the Baron fight where Rocky was split pushing down at bot. And I feel like the game would have been over if Rocky didn't teleport by then, but they had a second chance to recover from that because Rocky did teleport. And now, yeah, I'm speechless right now because, yeah, that just happened.
I wish I could say it's like communication issues too. Well, it has to be communication issues when it just comes to basic decision making. Because, like, Mocha speaks English. Like, there isn't variables. I don't know how G4 just walks into the base and takes a Nexus. He's looking over there. He's right beside me in the hole. He doesn't even know how that game just ended. It was just so quick. That's just how it is. No clue.
Yeah, I feel like, yes, it could be the tunnel visioning part where they focused more on not allowing Mountain Soul to go over Nova. I think that's the thing that happened, possibly. Because that happened in the first instance, a Baron buff. Like, okay, Nova, yes. Confused Liyab with her 1-3-1 with Rocky and then G4 in the side lane. Yes. I'm speechless, but I had so much to say.
Like, I'm watching this replay. I just see G4. He's just in the base. All right. Why is Rex? Rex can just go back. Kanji, he gets back. Cool. Rex decides, okay, yeah, my Ornn can somehow deal with this Echo, but he can't. There's no Nexus towers.
Rex had teleport. Yes.
He didn't even need to teleport. He could have backed. He was out of range of the Ezreal. I have no clue what the play is here from Liyab, but yeah, Ryan's thumbs up. That was,
chaos. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back there. Go back. MVP goes to G4. If that is not the best MVP photo we got, because it is, other than Golden Beat's MVP photo. Yeah.
It's the best. Yes. I mean, coming from the expression of G4 after finishing the game and then to the MVP, it's great. And it just shows how Liyab still has a problem when it comes to their former LST contenders. And yes, they have defeated PSG, but you know, there's still this former Titans from, you know, the GPL and LST.
So remaining strong, and unfortunately for Liyab, it looked like the promised week that they would be able to take down their rivals from Thailand. Unfortunately, it doesn't really happen. The hopes, the dreams, they went out the window. And you're a fan, you're just kind of like, well, we'll get them next time.
Yeah.
See, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, Liyab looked like sometimes like kind of like a top team in the league, just like periods of time. PSG game kind of looked okay.
Yeah.
And then there's this game, and thankfully we're thrown to a break after that fiesta. Don't worry, we got some more coming at you. It's going to be Resurgence taking on Hong Kong Attitude for our final game of Week 5.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. we're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.